All right. Give me another audio sync. And
And 3, 2, 1, action.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to Manhattan's Voice. We are a podcast branch of the Manhattan Globe newspaper on the Manhattan campus of NYIT, New York Institute of Technology, in Midtown, New York City. My name is Julian West.
My name is David Gustavo Contreras.
And my name is Nicole Miranda.
And today we have a special guest who goes by the name of
Shubhang
Jani. Shubhang Jani.
The man, the
Welcome,
myth, the legend.
welcome.
Welcome,
you,
sir.
thank
Thank you for coming.
Glad to have you.
Pleasure.
He is an information technology major, and you're minoring in technology entrepreneurship.
That's right.
Jeez Louise.
Very nice, very nice. He's also the president of NYIT Ventures, which is a huge club that's really like making a splash on campus here. So congrats on that as well. We will get into that.
Yeah. Thanks.
The way we start these things off is we go around and just ask vaguely how everyone's week is going, and we sometimes we go off on tangents off of that, but we like to have our guests start. So tell us how you've been for the past week.
How was your week?
Hasn't been that bad. I mean, I got an invite from you guys like a couple days ago, and I was pumped.
That would make
I was
anyone's
like-
week. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
I hear that.
I was excited. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
Right on, bro.
Thanks. And right before school starts, so there's no problems.
Yeah.
with that.
How long we got now?
Like a week and a half.
Exactly.
Jinx, you me soda.
Exactly like 2 weeks now, right? Is it Wednesday, September 4th? I think?
We started
2
on
weeks.
Wednesday,
Yeah,
September 4th.
it's
Yeah.
exactly 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
All right.
This is why he's president. That's why.
yeah. He's on top of
You
it.
know, he's on top of this stuff, man. Yeah.
I gotta know my events, you know. So like,
Yeah,
every day,
of course,
I gotta,
of course, yeah.
make
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
I don't even know what today's date is. Well, actually, I do, but
Tomorrow's your birthday.
yeah, tomorrow's my birthday. Yeah.
Tomorrow, yes, tomorrow is David's birthday.
Quarter of a century.
That's insane.
Yeah, don't remind me.
So, like, anything major go on this past week, or are you just winding down your summer, getting ready for the semester?
Yeah, it's been pretty relaxed this summer. It hasn't been anything crazy. No serious trips, you know, around the country. So, you know.
Any
Big
internships
things.
this summer?
Yeah. I've been working with my family over the summer. You know, trying to get more experience. You know, in like the business world as much as I'm learning here, and
What do they
hopefully.
do?
What's up?
Say it again.
What do they do?
Yeah, so we have
Like
like
your family.
it's like a bunch of companies, a group of companies, and mainly what I focus on is on venture capital investing. So what I try to do is we're like consultants. So we have a client and they're looking for funding, they're seeking funding, and we have to bring investors, which is extremely difficult, and then have them connect. And just finding investors there are thousands of investors out there, but they all have their specific niche and their criteria, and we have to match them up with the clients.
You're like the middleman.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So
That's my
you're
main-
like a money matchmaker in a way for
Yes.
these people who want to start businesses or
Yeah.
have like
Mhm.
ideas for anything that needs funding.
Yeah, I mean, they're different levels. They're like pre-seed, seed, and it goes all the way to like Series H. So I mean, there's like a whole lot of areas.
Wow, I work at Vans.
Well, I mean,
Jeez Louise.
I did work in retail for about 2 years.
There we go.
Ever
Right
since
on.
junior year. So
Shout out to my retailers out there.
that is important. You know, as much and screw the internships and all that, but like getting valuable experience.
Yeah, no, of
minimum
course.
wage job or whatever.
Sure.
It's important. I mean, I learned a lot of skills. Customer service, all that type of stuff is important.
Thank you, Vans, for hiring me.
Thanks, Coles of Nanny.
Yeah.
Wet, so
Shout out to
380s. Yeah.
Cool. Very, very cool. We're looking forward to hearing more about that
Yeah,
in
for
our,
sure,
our
of
main
course.
interview portion.
All right.
Nikki, why don't you go next
How's-
and inform us about how you've been?
How's life in the South?
Ooh, it's pretty rough. I'm just kidding. No, it's not that bad. I'm just hanging out with my sister and my grandma and my best friend Elizabeth before she goes to the Air Force soon.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Her birthday's tomorrow too, so you guys are
Ayo.
birthday twins. Yes.
Shout out to my Leos out there.
Right. Yeah. So gonna
How old
celebrate
she
her
gonna be?
birthday. She's gonna be 19.
Oh,
She's
cool.
a year like
Wait.
no, she's like a
I'm still
almost
over.
about a year
Hooray.
younger than me. Yeah, you're still old. I'm kidding.
All right.
But it's going good. I'm excited to get back. I miss you guys. I miss being in studio.
I mean, we
because they
somewhat
fun.
miss you, but I mean,
How's the weather down there? Is it
Yeah.
like I've
It
always like
rained.
it rain
all
like
the time.
Yeah,
I've
let's
seen
say-
like memes on Instagram where it's like let's say at 3:47 p.m. it's like bright and sunny, and like 3:48 it's be like thunderstorm or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Bro, that is no
Tis the
joke.
season, man.
I will not lie to you. Like it's rained almost every single day that I've been here, and I'm almost here 2 weeks. and it's like I like. Well, it's not that I wanted to go to the beach or anything, but like it's like you can't really go to the beach because then it like rains.
You didn't want to go to the beach?
All this stuff.
Not a beach person?
Well, not that much.
I hear you. I'm the same way. Sand. Who needs it?
Sand. I get really
can live without
itchy, and my skin's super sensitive. I don't know. I've got problems. But I'm doing good. Gonna go to get a massage because my back is broken.
Here we go again.
Don't get us started, bro.
Even Shubhang knows. This is his first time here, and he already knows the procedure with Nikki.
He's already here for 5 minutes, and he's already trying to think. But it's fine. It's fine. No, but I'm good.
When do you come back?
I come back Sunday. So
Right.
Sunday afternoon, I come back, and then
return.
And then I start working again.
And the team
on
is
Monday.
back at full force.
Are you looking forward to attending the gym when you get back?
We'll see what happens. Because,
Please sponsor us, New York Sports Club.
What had happened was the lady that saw me like try to get into the gym. She was there when I was signing up, and like I guess when you have a student membership, you have to have the gym contact the school because then they pay for some part of it. It's like really confusing.
Oh, you get a discount, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's like weird, and I'm probably gonna go in person to figure it out.
I thought you were going to cancel it. Let's say, Jesus.
No. I'm kind of tired of being lazy. Even though I'm not lazy.
Yeah.
but
We
lazy
have
at
like
the
weekly
gym.
updates on stuff we used to do. He had it, she had pet, and then now it's the gym. But like, I don't think you've gone yet, right?
I went once.
She went
Oh, you went once?
No,
Okay,
I
I'm
went
sorry. You
one
went once.
time.
I'll give you that one. I apologize.
I'm like obsessed with like ever since I like been going to the gym like after during senior year like every day
Yeah, bro.
I gotta go like
That freshman
I go
15
24 hours.
Bro, that freshman 15 is a real thing, man. I tell you.
I mean, I'm a vegetarian, so I don't really have to really worry about
Yeah.
I mean,
Your cholesterol's not high from a pull. Yeah.
I still try to maintain it, and now like
Yeah.
I've been like working out a little bit more, so like I try to like every time I eat something like sugary, like now like before I didn't really care like what's gonna happen to me, but like now like I'm starting to realize like, I gotta like get myself into a little I gotta be more disciplined.
Nice.
Yeah.
But
you gotta go to the gym.
I'm eating
like,
I
that's, like,
envy your
every single
But I
discipline.
day.
just don't know
I
what
envy
to
your
do.
discipline.
Yeah, for real.
I'll be your personal trainer. I mean, I don't really mind it.
Dude,
Where-
You don't have to pay.
Don't.
Why
Yeah,
not?
don't
Like,
don't tempt us, bro.
we'll
hold you to
we'll
it.
talk
Hold
about
you to it.
we'll talk about
later.
this after.
Whip us into shape, my man.
We'll talk about this after.
All right, so Julian, how are you doing?
Yeah, Julian. How's life?
I mean,
life without NYIFA.
I'm still. I did a shoot for them this past weekend,
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm like still there.
Word.
Knife is the New York Film Academy, so I'm.
It's our lingo here.
I've been all the way downtown. I was working on a shoot for them this past weekend. I was a gaffer. My very first time being a gaffer.
That's
Basically,
cool.
I was working on like lighting on set. I was working directly under the director of photography, the DP. He was a really cool guy. He was the brother of the guy who brought me onto set and like got me the position for that weekend. So that was cool. Learned a lot. Sort of figured out like gaffing isn't really for me.
It's
like
not it's not a very glamorous job.
it's not that I'm looking for glamour. It's just I'm not like
I don't know.
the biggest fan, or at least not at this level. It's not.
Light,
for
yeah,
me.
I'm taking
We'll
a class
see.
for that next semester. Lighting, camera, and sound.
Yeah, I'm in that
You
too. I
are?
think.
You are?
Yeah,
What day?
we might. I forget, but we might be in the same class. We'll see.
If it's Wednesday.
Might
All the classes
Oh,
are
dude, if we're in the
all
same
the
class.
classes are like given once a week, so you probably.
probably.
I
Yeah.
was taking a filming American history class, but the class was canceled because nobody signed up for it on Tuesday, so they canceled it, and I had to fill in that gap I had.
Weird.
I was so upset.
Well, Tuesdays are gonna be busy, so
That is true.
Whoop,
That is
whoop.
true.
Yeah, so yeah, I only have one class on Tuesday.
Um,
Did you say striking?
I didn't have to.
Ah.
I didn't have to because the DP was the one turning on all the lights, so he was saying striking.
For those who don't know, whenever we set up and Julian turns on the light, his lingo term is to say striking
So
before. Yeah.
on set, you're supposed to yell striking before you switch a light on, so that no one is staring directly into the light when you switch it on and they go blind.
What David
That's
really does.
that is the
which
point.
I have done numerous times.
Yeah. Besides that, winding down stuff with Res Life. Still going through training this week. That's been interesting. I actually have a basil plant now that's
Ooh la
thriving.
la.
I might put a picture on screen, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, that's been fun taking care of my one plant in my room.
Will you end up using it once it's done?
Maybe.
basil's good for you.
Basil's just a
Basil
spice.
is
really,
good.
Yeah. Is it good for you? I don't know. About
I don't know if it's good for you, but
yeah,
it's
but
good.
it tastes good.
It
Yeah,
tastes
no,
good.
I love
Wait,
me
just
some
kidding.
basil.
I was talking about another plant. Never mind. I was talking about something else. I forgot. That's the plant.
All right.
Thank you.
Cool.
Other than that,
Mint.
did mint?
Mint.
Yes.
Mint.
Yes.
It smells good. Yeah.
I did
I should grow a
my
mint plant.
I did my first photo shoot for my 35 millimeter
That's right,
project
that's right.
last week.
Yay.
It was
35
like-
millimeter what?
film.
Oh, I think that's something else.
Like it's like still photography, but on
Okay.
like physical film.
Okay.
That went amazing. That was honestly like one of the best days I've had in like a really
Yeah, I
long
want to come
time.
with you
'Cause,
next
like,
time you do those things, man.
I went with a really good friend that I hadn't seen for years, literally years. And like after I let go a lot of like tension over like being nervous about the whole thing, like it was just really, really chill and like amazing. So
Right on.
big shout out to, I don't know if I should say your name, but thank you. Thank you
Shout
for
out, you
thank
know
you for
who
going
you
with
are.
me. So yeah,
Hey, take pictures
that's
of me. I'm just kidding.
that's been my week. How you doing, David? How's it?
Oh, I didn't go
everything?
yet. That's right. Oh,
You
no.
did not.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, chilling. I've just been working a lot, just chasing that bread. I gotta save
Shout
up some
out to
money for
them.
the LIR tickets.
Yeah.
Shout out to LIR, who was very late today. But yeah, my birthday's tomorrow. I'm 25.
How does it feel?
I
I mean, you're not there yet, but like, how do you feel?
think I have like 6 hours ish to go.
Mhm.
I mean, it's 25, quarter of a century. It's whatever. It feels like 24, like 23, and 22, and 21. But I'm looking forward to it. Going to get some dinner. Definitely getting bombed, that's for sure.
Ooh,
You're
yeah,
of
good
age
one.
to do so.
That's it, bro. I'm way
So,
past 4 years past the
enjoy
age.
it,
Yeah,
enjoy it.
definitely gonna. Yeah, no, you gonna enjoy it. Spend time with friends and family and strip club. No, I'm just kidding.
I hate you.
Maybe.
All right. I think this is right about when we get into our main interview.
Yeah.
Nikki, do you want to start us off?
Well,
Ladies first.
well,
Go ahead, Julie.
before we get into like school topics and stuff like that, let's get to like know more, like notes and like stuff about Shubhang. So, tell us about yourself. Like, I'm not saying like something brief, but like just tell us whatever.
It's
So
like a
then-
job interview.
A short intro
What, yeah,
to who
what
you are.
qualifies you for this podcast right now?
Well, you guys can answer that. I don't really know. About myself.
Like where you're from, where's your family from? I guess.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you
So-
started.
Yeah, so my family's from India, Gujarat state. My mom came.
Shout out.
Yeah, why not?
Shout out to our fans out there.
They may be watching this. I don't know.
Ooh.
But my mom came here around when she was in 3rd grade, so they came here to New York. They should have went down to Florida. I don't know why. came up here in the cold. And yeah, and I was born in Rockland County, and a lot of people here say that's upstate. You guys can look on your maps. Include a map, please, Julian.
I will.
Rockland
I
County is
will.
literally like 30 minutes away. Like it could be like 25 minutes, depending how fast you're going. But it's very short from here. And yeah, it's close to the city, and I enjoy being in the city. That's why I came to NYIT. It's a local. Yeah.
Nice.
Do you drive to school or do you take public transportation?
Depends on the day of classes, but yeah, usually driving or take the bus.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I enjoy driving in the city.
How's the
That-
drive?
Driving on the highway is kind of boring, but driving in the city is fun. It's going left and right and
Bro,
racing
I
the
couldn't
taxi
drive in
drivers.
the city. I can't drive in the city. It's too
5
hectic
points
out
if you
there.
hit someone.
What was that?
I said 5 points if you hit someone.
It's if you haven't like drove in the city before, like it gets a little, like
Oh my
you may
goodness.
think it's bad. It's not that bad. I mean, you're going like no more than 25, 30 miles per hour.
Sure.
Yeah,
you know.
you are limited on speed. Like you can't
Yeah.
you can't get to like 60, 70 unless you're on like
but
the West Side
people are
Highway.
crazy. Just
Well,
walking.
actually, they just said, I think it was just like posted like 2 weeks ago. Now New York's the NYPD has like put up speed cameras around school zones, and I don't know how many
That's good.
school zones are
Yeah.
here. So if you're going like over like speed limit's 25. If you're going over like 36, you're gonna get a ticket. I never got a ticket, so shout out to NYPD. For never giving me a ticket.
Yeah.
Hopefully that never happens. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Fingers crossed.
But I enjoy it. I recommend you guys trying it. Should be on your bucket
Driving
list.
from
Driving.
Long Island?
I've
Yeah, no.
driven in the city before after I moved out of the dorms, and I was with my brother, and
Yeah.
everything in the back was like full, and so I guess it was
Ooh.
like just raining, so I was on the highway, and there was like a pothole, and then there was water filled in the
Yeah.
pothole, and I didn't realize it, and then I almost crashed, and my brother hasn't let that go.
You hold it above your head every time now.
Literally, he's like, I don't want to get in the car
Want
with
to drive
you.
after
I was like,
last time?
So, with family, like, what's the culture with like your close family? Do you have any siblings?
No, so I'm actually an only child.
Okay.
So my
Lucky.
parents are divorced back in like '04. Yeah, it's just me, and my mom. So, but we do live very close to my uncle, my aunt, 7-year-old baby cousin. He's a little guy. He's fun, but also a little bit.
7's hard, yeah.
Yeah, that's at the age.
Yeah, I hear you.
And my 2 grandparents. So we do get along, and then
Nice.
So yeah.
Shout out to the
That's-
fam.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. What was it your family that made you decide you wanted to get into tech, or was it just something that you'd been interested in?
They're not they're more in business, but like I really wanted to do something. They never had limits. They're like, I don't want to be stereotypical here, but a lot of Indian parents are like, got to be a doctor or something like that.
Yeah.
No, my parents are not like that. They're very open on whatever you want to do.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, what, NYIT is like a great school,
Amen.
perhaps. Well, it is, but like it's in the city, got a good scholarship and everything. So it's like it's right here anyway. So this is a good opportunity for me to connect with. I would have never known Manhattan's voice, if I didn't come here. So
Yep.
That is true.
yeah, but it wasn't really based on them. They were more on the encouragement side. But yeah,
That's good.
the choice.
So they were very supportive of
Yeah.
your decision.
They were,
to,
they were
like-
behind you 100%.
Yes.
Right on.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's always good to have.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. Nikki, what's your next question? I want to make sure we have equal speaking time here.
Wait, did did someone ask if he was the first person in his family to go to?
No, we
did.
haven't
We
gotten
did
to that
now.
yet. Go ahead.
Oh,
No.
did you? Are you first in your family to attend college?
No.
No?
Like the third. My mom went to Pace. My uncle went to Pace.
Wow,
I did not go to
that's
Pace.
awesome.
You didn't want to go to
So,
Pace?
nah. Well, my mom, she's in.
You made the right choice, buddy.
Yeah, and I was like, well, Pace was one of my options. That was
Sure.
actually the first school that actually reached back to me. But I was like, this is not. Location over here, and it had to be in the city, downtown. It wasn't that great of a location anyway.
Yeah.
It's like World Trade Center and stuff like that down there.
Yeah, it's down there. I could still get here from here, but like this is like still a better commercial area. But yeah, my mom studied law. Very boring.
Wow.
Not going that area at all.
Law's hard, bro.
Even
the bar exam is
the bar exam,
crazy.
I think it's like 50%.
Oh my goodness.
Whatever the ratio
It's
is.
literally everything covered, just shoveled up into the
Yeah.
bar exam. It's really stressful, I've heard.
So I did not get that from my mom. So I definitely she even tells me don't go into law. I'm not interested in being an attorney or whatever.
So what did you get from your mom? Like, since your mom went to college, like, how did, like, because some people don't have, like, parents who went to college, so, like, now you do. So how
Yeah.
did that affect you? Like,
Yeah,
growing
so-
up and, like, now?
Yeah. So it's like I think if you're like parents in higher education, it definitely does give you you could see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like you know where things are headed. You could see more of like a stability. But it's really up to you at the end of the day. And I'm like a strong advocate behind your product of your environment. So who you were raised by has a major impact, not 100%, but has a major impact on who you will be, and I look at it more like behavior and personality wise. I don't really care about being book smart and all that. But it's, if you were raised by a family who, I don't want to name any areas, but if you weren't, if you didn't grow
Real
up in
life
like,
experience, yeah.
yeah, if you weren't like in a, in a quality, like what's the right word? It's just like raised in a nice, area or grew up with, empowering students. I'd say,
a nurturing environment. I guess.
yeah, exactly. That does impact you. So
Sure,
I think,
of course.
with my family being in higher education, that does give you some, expectations, I'd assume, puts you in like a little bit of a higher threshold. But I do know several people that even their parents have not gotten it, gone into college or whatever, but they're still very disciplined. They're really chasing their passions even here at NYT. So I really think, my main judgment is like you're product of your environment and who you're raised by.
Clearly worked out.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Mhm.
I would agree. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I do want to bring up the fact that you had an article written about you and Ventures in the Box blog, right? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. It's the
Um,
box.
Tell us some, about that. What was that all about?
Yeah, so that was another student was actually on there too. I think she goes to Old Westbury campus.
Yeah,
Um,
she does. Her name is. I'm not even gonna pronounce it because I don't know how to pronounce it.
Man.
Oh, but she's in charge of the club called Curl Up.
yeah, it's like
Okay.
what was it called again? It was
Girl Up.
girl.
Girl
Okay,
Up.
yeah.
Girl Up.
So shout out to you
Yeah.
out there.
Shout out to my Long
She's a
Islanders.
sophomore. Yeah.
Um,
It's women's advocacy. We'll
Close.
focus on women's advocacy.
Okay.
That's what it says.
Yeah, so basically ever since I started, my freshman year last semester or back in last fall, I really wanted to like start something new. Like, I don't want to like come in as a student and, just take the classes and
We
whatever.
hear that for sure.
So like I really wanted to do something changing, and then I noticed in all the clubs, and most of the clubs here are engineering based, but for me, the first orientation or whatever it was, I signed up for every single club. I didn't attend to any of them, so like I don't really care.
Wow.
I mean, everyone just goes around, like
Sure,
alternating
sure.
your year and whatever. But I didn't attend any of them. I was like, I was really fixed on this idea. Like, I saw a gap. Like there could be something in between that NYIT didn't offer. Which was fortunate because a lot of other schools, they have these type of organizations. So I just went for it last semester, back in fall 2018. Basically that entire semester really trying to build up before I built up a team, I got all my ideas laid together, start designing ideas for the website, think about the logo, but more on like the key points and the business model. There's more on that. And then after all that was established, and I started creating a team of close, people who were pretty close. And and then ever since December, so the end of my first semester, we got approved. And I really, I was like,
I'm sure
because I really wanted to start it back, last spring. Thankfully, it did. I don't want to wait, carry it over by the way the SGA works, because it can take a while.
Yeah.
So I really want to make sure that I expedite it as fast as I can, and we got started, beginning of fall. Beginning of spring, but we
What
finished
was the
in
first
fall.
move once spring started?
Well, before that winter break, especially like in January, there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Of course, yeah.
There's a lot of work behind the scenes that and this relates to anything for you guys out there. Yeah, I'm sure even for you guys.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys who are watching this, you guys may see, you guys are looking at the product of what they built.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's a lot of work that you guys put behind it.
Stop.
I gotta
Yeah,
mention
no.
because I do think it's pretty important. A lot of people get envious sometimes, and I think it's it's really not about that. It's about looking at all the work and are you able to execute like what what you individuals did. It's the summer too, so the fact that you guys did this instead of like doing something else. I mean, you guys do, but you went down to Miami, Nicole. But still, at least you guys you got this established and everything, which is very important. And a lot everyone has ideas. I'm sure a lot of other people had some sort of idea like this, but the fact that you guys executed on this is really important. So really, my point is, even over the breaks, like even the summer break, I got my executive team really working hard. I have 7 other e-board members who I'm very lucky to have. They got a great skill set in their areas, and I try to really capitalize on their talents. Over the breaks, we're working hard, trying to make sure that we provide the best experience for our members. Last semester it was a pilot because it's our first semester, so
Yeah,
it was more of an experience.
trial run. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was very successful. I mean, if you guys want to talk about NYIT Ventures, I don't know if you guys have any other questions, but I mean,
Wait,
We have questions,
also, before we get off of the
Yeah.
topic from the article of the box.
Oh
it
yeah, the
also
question that's how it
stated-
started, right? I'm so sorry.
It also
Sorry, no worries.
stated
For us,
that
we
like,
fall into rabbit holes all the time.
it says that it's not your first time obviously starting the club because in
Yeah.
high school, to throw it back to the good old days like
Yeah.
yesterday when you started the club called Ultra Code. Is
Ultra
that
Code,
it?
yeah,
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So tell us like what that was about, and if like anything from creating that club it inspired into the Ventures Club that you created here at NYIT.
Yeah. So like basically my first leadership role I've ever had was back in sophomore year. If you guys heard of the Lions Club, it's the 501c3, the nonprofit organization.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
It's kind of like the Rotary,
Yes,
but
yes,
it's,
yeah.
you know, I don't want to say competitor, but you know, something similar. So shout out to Lions Club of NYIT. But that's really where I started. As president, I work with the person who was in charge, and then I got a lot of high school students who really work with me, and then build this organization. So started there, and then I think it was junior year, and this is high school, so you got people that have different areas of interest. So that's like it's completely different what high school was like to here. I mean, everyone here has a similar perspective on things and similar interest here. But back in high school, where people had different things, it was hard creating an organization. And working with the board of education there, it was a mess. It's so slow. It's incredibly slow. But yeah, basically I started Ultra Code back in end of junior year. Yeah, the end of junior year is when I started Ultra Code with my team. It wasn't, I mean, you could call it a success or a failure, but it was a club focused on hardware and like software development. We had like this web development stuff. I don't know any of that type of stuff. If you tell me what I learned, it's more on like building the club. I didn't learn about web design or whatever. But it was a good experience in the fact that I was able to really follow through on something that I wanted to do. I wasn't able to create a website because of the school's restrictions, but I was still able to build a small little community of interested people. I mean, not a lot of people showed up. You were talking about like one day we had like 22 people, which was like heaven for me. Like, wow, this is a lot of people. And another day we would have like 4. So it really does depend. But that did give me a good, and that was a good basis for me. And because of that, I'd say that after my senior year ended, that's when I was interested in doing something here, but bigger and better. And that's when I followed through to NYIT Ventures.
I was like the fact that you said like sometimes you had like 22 people and that was good, and then sometimes you had like 4 people. It's something that like every club goes through and will end up like going through because it's just like a trial and error, like trying to get people invested in your club and stuff like that. But Ventures, like you're doing awesome, and like the fact that all of the most of the clubs at NYIT are like engineering, biology, all that stuff, and like this is like the first like I guess that I've seen like business club, because it is, right?
Yeah, it's like a mix of both. I mean, there's several. Most of it's from like the College of Engineering. We get a lot from School of Management. So and I really want to be both. I don't want to, be selective.
Just limit.
Restrict yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That's great. But I really want people who are interested, and I'll let them do whatever they want to do. Screw about the organization being better. It's about them, and I want them, this is like an opportunity. This is like a bridge to do whatever you want. I don't want to say names right now, but last semester we've had a research project. We had this individual who he's a computer science major. Shout out, who
you know who you are.
Yeah,
bro.
there you go.
You know who you are.
And I really wanted him to we had this presentation, and he had an amazing presentation. It was very detailed, past my expectations.
Knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, it was like, no, I don't know anyone that can do that. But it's really to give the people, it could be from any major, I don't care who it is, but, to really give people a bridge to sell yourself, basically, and what you like.
I must say,
awesome.
You already sound like a CEO, which is like
for real.
awesome.
For real.
He knows what he's doing.
You
and
sound
I'm
like
here,
you're
like,
confident in every word you say.
Not really, I don't know. It may
Nah,
seem
bro,
like
you're,
that.
you're
But
coming off, not.
I don't think it comes off to you, but like you definitely
no.
do, which is like that's amazing.
No,
like,
it's a
That's
fantastic
kudos to
amazing.
you.
characteristic, absolutely.
I mean, you guys are running this podcast, and you guys got like great voices, and you guys got
We're trying.
We do try.
No, wait, but
we do try.
that's the way that you present yourself, and like you know all the facts and you know all the information is so important, because like you're selling, like not yourself, but like you're selling your products, like selling ventures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like when people see that like you want to like not only better your club but better them, it's like a win-win for everyone, because then you get more people invested, and then you get people hyped up, and like like the energy really matters. And like I feel like there's so much like positive energy surrounding the club and like surrounding you to have people join and be aware of like this is actually something that you created for not yourself but for the students. So that's really important, and kudos to you, because some people can't do that. and that's like that's awesome. And you know,
Appreciate it. Killing it, man.
to have the fact that like you're on this podcast and like you know we're just gonna try to get more people like to like acknowledge that like the students here at NYIT have such like a voice that should be heard, and that's why we're doing
You're
this.
the heart and soul
So
of this podcast, man,
yeah,
for
so
sure.
we're so glad to have you and like you know have more people like come to you because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know.
Thanks for the kind words. I appreciate that. Likewise.
Mm-hmm.
We do want to hear a little bit more about ventures. So, like, what is the during the school year? What is the process you guys go through with
How'd you come
people?
up with that name, by the way? I'm just out of curiosity.
NYIT Ventures. So I'm into like venture capital and all that type of stuff. I'll get into later. But like a lot of companies, and we're not a venture capital fund or anything like that. You know, I mean, forget about that. The SGA gives us very little money. We're not going to fund anyone. We can't even fund ourselves properly. Screw everything.
We love you, SGA.
You get
we do.
You basically get like
Sure.
a budget of a budget of a budget.
Yeah.
So
Especially we're new, so we get like a fraction of what everyone else gets.
yeah.
So
We're on our way
you
as
know,
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I forgot like how I thought about the name, but I think I had the name set pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It was more the logo and and all those type of little quirks that I added in. But the name came about pretty quickly, and it sounded nice. NYT Ventures.
Yeah.
And another one is like
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, another one's like NYT Capital, but that doesn't sound nice. I mean,
Ours took
people are gonna come to me asking for money, but I'm like, I don't cut.
We took a minute to think of ours.
Yeah, I mean, man has voice. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's a great.
Yeah, it's
you know,
a winner. It's a winner.
People know what it is.
It's a winner.
So yeah, it is very important. So yeah, NYT Ventures. I'd probably say one of our main goals is to bring industry to the classroom. So just this last semester, we brought in six guest speakers to come in. And right now the website is, if you want to give a shout out, it's nyventures.org.
I will make sure to add that on
Right
screen.
here on screen.
It's getting updated right now, but it should be up and live end of August.
You on
let's
Instagram?
say
Are you on Instagram?
What's up?
Are you on Instagram?
Yeah, absolutely. NYT Ventures. That's it.
Ta-da.
Also, will be on screen and in the description.
Yeah, it's on LinkedIn too, so you guys can add it there.
Yeah, he's very Shubhang is very active on LinkedIn, so that's
Yeah,
good.
LinkedIn. Like,
So add him.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, add that too. Yeah. LinkedIn is like I got like my like Instagram. LinkedIn is like my main. Snapchat is there. I mean,
I feel the same way.
and then
there.
Facebook. I'm not a Facebook, but I think you guys were talking
None
about
of
this.
us are. None of us are.
Yeah, you guys were. I think you guys were. Yeah,
None of us
you
are.
brought Facebook as an idea.
Yeah.
You guys like started.
It
pounding
makes
on
sense,
like,
but I don't use it. I'm like personally, but it doesn't.
it's more like a
make
soccer
No.
mom type of app. Yeah, it's like
sense. Literally what I said.
and Facebook, it gives us so much information. Like if you update your profile picture, it's gonna put on the feed, and
Hey,
everyone's
did
gonna
you know
Yeah,
he
it
updated his
just-
profile
like,
picture?
I don't want to like announce that I updated my profile
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy you knew in 7th grade has updated his profile picture. Like, ooh, wow.
And if you comment on someone's post, then it'll show up on your
I
feed
hate
like,
that. I hate
oh
that.
look, Shubhang Jani commented on X's post. Like, I don't want that's just too much information.
Good to know.
Exactly. But
So,
going,
So bringing
I'm
industry
sorry.
into the classroom. No, we do that all the time. So bringing industry into the classroom.
Yeah, so-
you're bringing speakers in.
Yeah, that's our main. So before the first semester, or before last, let me say spring 2019 started, our first semester, our main like bread and butter was on the research projects. It was mainly, we would have. So I had very high expectations at the beginning, and did not. I mean, there are different levels for everything. So I had, an idea where we would have like 8 research groups, like 2, and they would be, and it's not like academic research. This is more like just the whole point of this was to gain general knowledge behind, something that you're very interested in. Whether that's like, topics that NYT Ventures focuses on is like fintech, blockchain, data analytics, and all these other buzzwords, blockchain, and all that type of stuff.
Blockchain. Yeah.
But it's important, like especially going to networking events, that you do have a general knowledge behind it. That way, when you're talking to people who you never met before, and people are at like a completely different level, they're like a C level.
Like you have points of conversation.
Exactly, and you do know a little bit about it. You're updated, on the current trends. But that's basically that was our goal. And then over the course of the semester, like our first meeting, January 24th. After our introduction to the grand opening, it was like I thought we'd have all the research groups set. We'd have the groups, all that. None of that worked. It was a mess. You could
Things
talk
don't
to my.
usually go as planned.
It did not go as planned, and I look back at it, and I laugh at it, because you have different perspectives on everything, and your expectations are different for a lot of different areas of the organization. But we ended up having two presentations at the end of the semester, so it wasn't as bad. They were good, so I was fine with that. But then I come to realize that our main area is bringing in the speakers. You know, we had anywhere from, the most amount of people we've had is about 45 to 50 people. We're in 16 West, room 822, that large rectangular classroom.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we had 6 people. We had Ramon Ray. He was a graduate of NYT. So all these people that we bring in, we make sure that they're running a business, or they're at least a high level, like a C-level executive. So like Ramon Ray, he's the CEO, founder of Smart Hustle magazine. So he came in and he spoke about personal branding, which is one of our core topics. We've had another speaker, that was back in February 28th. We've had another, so we had like 6 people coming back to back each week. We have a meeting each week. We have, I think, from what SGA told us, we have the most amount of meetings. We've had 11 meetings last semester. We're going to have 11 meetings this semester.
And you guys are killing it.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
really,
it is a lot.
That's
People
wild.
told me that it is a lot, but like the thing is, there's so much that we need to get done, like through.
It's only the beginning, yeah, sure.
Exactly, and there's a lot of stuff. I mean, we have like 45 minutes to an hour, and there's a lot of things to cover. And if we have this opportunity here at NYT to do it, I don't have a problem with putting extra time into it. But you know, we've had, you know, I don't want to say the names of everyone, but we've had like, you know, startup CEOs come in, and you know, these executives, and I think it was really important because what you learn, in my perspective on college education, you know, I mean, with respect to NYT, we're here at Manhattan's Voice, but really what I think, I mean, it depends what major you're in, but if you're going to if you're interested in starting your own business, or you know, you want to be in a, you know, like an entrepreneur or a venturepreneur or something, you know, having that college degree. The degree itself, I don't really find as valuable. I mean, a lot of companies, you know, like Goldman Sachs or whatever, yeah, that's like, you know, 3.9 GPA, whatever. People think like that. But, you know, from what I think it's really about your discipline and, you know, your knowledge that you gain outside from the classroom, because a lot of stuff they learn in the classroom is more academia driven, and you're not really getting the realistic, you know, skill, like the practical skills that you need for the industry. So that's why, you know, for NYT Ventures, we bring in, you know, these speakers to come in so people can get trained up.
That's genius.
So, and, you know, last semester, speakers came in voluntarily, which I'm grateful for. So shout out to all the 6 speakers. You know, we'll probably have their names on the video. I don't know if that's important.
Yeah, you can give me a list of those, and
right,
I can put them up and
how do you
add them
find
to
these
the
guys?
description.
So yeah, that's a good question. So it was a friend of mine. He sent me a text on this speaker, which was Ramon Ray, and he actually had him as a teacher. So he was like a former teacher back then.
Oh, okay.
I reached out to him on Instagram, you know, direct message, like DMs are key. You know? Yeah.
there.
So basically, we got like one speaker right from a friend. We got another. So over that winter break, you know, I kind of drove my e-board a little crazy. No, it's gonna be a little funny, but I had a whole spreadsheet, and the goal was there were 7 of us. We had to contact a total of 300 companies. I don't care who they were, and our goal was to get at least to hear back about like 2% of them. So let's say like 5 of them. I don't know if 2% of 300 is 5. What are the math?
That's still
Simple
really
math,
smart.
2%
Really
of
smart.
300 is 6.
Oh, so that was close.
Oh,
So 6, yeah, 6
wow.
speakers, right?
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
pretty
That's
close.
really smart.
So yeah, but it did not turn out well. Cold calling people, and you're like, you want to come in and speak for free?
Sure.
Like that's not gonna work out well.
Still
You know,
though.
they got no time. So we actually got we got lucky. So we got one speaker that one of my e-board members. Shout out to Jennifer. She.
Oh, I know Jennifer.
Jennifer, you?
Shout out Jennifer.
Yeah.
Shout out Jennifer.
So she's the one that got the senior product engineer from Merrill Corporation. His name is Billy Tobin, to come in and speak voluntarily, and he came in. So one was through cold call. Well, that was actually cold email, and those are not as effective. But it was our first semester. How are we gonna get speakers? We have to do whatever it takes to get speakers, right? So that was for one. Another one, which is, you know, he's very helpful. His name is Adi Patil. He's the chief marketing officer for Startup NYC, which is an accelerator.
I've
here in
heard
New
of them
City.
as well. That's really
Good?
cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Like, see the words. Did you hear from NYT Ventures, or did you hear from?
No. I'd heard of Startup NYC like
You did.
beforehand.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. So yeah, our community.
This guy.
Yeah, he's heard it from NYT Ventures. So, you know, I saw him at a networking event back in October, and you know, I saw this guy on Instagram. He looked so familiar. It was like, this guy looks just like the guy I never spoke with him before, but he looked like a guy from network events. So I just went for it. I just direct messaged him, you know, this long paragraph.
Slid in there. I hear you.
Yeah, and you know, he saw the message. He responded back, and he was interested. And I'm very happy that I had him on board because he helped me out for this semester, which I'll talk about in a moment. But basically, him and his partner, the chief technology officer, came in to speak one day.
Wow.
So it was that was through another, I guess you could say, cold message on that one. And another speaker, our last speaker, LeVar Haffney, he's a principal consultant of a financial advisory firm. He actually signed up on our website. So usually people who sign up on our website are students. So I was like, this guy, he had like this inquiry about speaking. So I was like, wow. I was like, first I had to verify it.
Took interest
Because
in it. Wow,
because people, just write whatever they want. So I had to verify it. And yeah, it was legit. And I reached out to him, and he confirmed. And
how hyped were you?
I was very hyped. I was like, because we had to. It was April 4th, so we had to do something that day. I didn't know what it was, and we confirmed in advance, like 2 weeks before, and we got all of our six people on board.
That's amazing.
That's
So
crazy, man.
yeah, so I was really happy
We
with
gotta
our
start cold calling people.
yeah. Well, I mean, it really
For
doesn't
real.
work out. I mean, especially with what I'm doing over the summer with like calling investors, which is like 10 times even harder. First of all, they're not going to pick up. They got no time for you. I mean, if there are, I've had investors like hang up on me, like before I even like ended what I was going to say. So cold calling is not as effective, but if you're at that stage where you just have to do whatever you got to do, you kind of have to do whatever you got to do.
One thing that I've heard in certain places is where, if you're looking for some way for someone to share their knowledge with your audience or in some kind of like situation that you've constructed, they're usually looking for some kind of value from you. And like, obviously being that we're at an institution, that's harder for ventures to do, but for these people to like step up and just graciously like be here for these students who are like trying to advance themselves in an even more limited environment than those people are already in is like so like
and that's
amazing.
And that's actually what for all students, like all of us, like that's our leverage that we pull. Like we don't have these high job titles obviously at this stage, so how can we attract people who are over here if we're over here? And what I especially in networking events, when I speak to people, a lot of people are turned off. We're young, I look young, we all look young, so
yes, we all look young.
and
Yes.
it helps in some cases it doesn't. Some people are like shocked. I was like, wow, you're already doing all this and you're only 19. So it does actually help. In some, depends who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I use that as leverage. I try to emphasize the fact that we're college students and we're already doing this. That's really what our main our main push or pull rather is. Pull factor.
And plus you're connecting with all these companies and firms and like startups, and you're also like kind of linking everyone that goes to these talks, you're linking them to this person, and they might be able to contact that company in the future and potentially set something up for themselves. So.
I told all my members, take advantage for what we have. I mean, you can't really just rely on NYT. I know NYT has some, speaking events or something like that, but it's very few. In comparison to what NYIT Ventures provides, and
that's an accomplishment by itself, bro. That's great.
Yeah, and I'm a student, so I can relate.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people who are older and work for NYT, and when they bring in people, they can't really relate. So I already do know what people want, and I try to really try to deliver on that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I use the connections that we bring in, and I use as leverage. I tell all my members to take advantage of it. Connect with them. If you're looking for an internship, if you think this is right for you, then learn. I mean, they're 45 minutes. Their guest speaking time at NYIT Ventures is very valuable. We have it's like a fireside chat. Pictures are on the website, which should be updated again like the next week or so. But yeah, it's we've had people. I tell students, ask questions. This is like perfect moment to ask.
I don't lose, so much to gain.
Yeah, I mean they're already here. You might as well just ask it. There's nothing to lose. Like you just mentioned. Just go out and do it.
Who's your dream speaker? Like who would you want to land that you would?
My dream. So the guy I look up to, which inspires me all the time, is Grant Cardone. Shout out to him.
Please come on the show.
Yeah, that'll be huge. You'll be spending a lot of money behind that. But he's basically he lives in Aventura, Florida. You could actually see him, Nicole, if you want.
Go say what's up to him.
Sure.
I want to go there. But basically, he if you look up a Grant Cardone on Google, he's world famous. He's
Grant
like
Cardone?
Yeah, Grant Cardone. Yeah, Uncle G, I call him. So a lot of people call him that. Nothing.
Okay.
No. So basically, he has like this $800 million real estate portfolio. I look. He he just hosted a 10x, which basically means like 10x your life, 10x your business, 10x your hustle, your network, all that type of stuff. Basically scale up your life.
Okay.
And he hosted a 10x growth conference 3. So back, I'm like, I'm helping out Grant Cardone right now. So he better be, exactly. But he pulled together 35,000 people. It's the largest business conference on planet Earth, basically. There's no larger conference than that. I didn't go there. I'll probably go there next year, 10x Growth Con 4. But basically, I look up to him and a lot of his ideas that he shares, and I try to figure out what can I take from him and funnel it down. Another guy's Gary Vaynerchuk. You guys may have heard of him, right?
I'm actually a fan of Gary V.
Gary.
I know that he was kind of controversial for a while with his whole like the term was hustle porn.
Yeah.
Like he would get into this phase where he would sort of like
category?
not push, but like insinuate that people would have to get up at 4 a.m. And just grind until you're exhausted, but you get the result you want. And now I like the fact that his philosophy has changed to where, there may be points in your life where you have to do that, but he doesn't endorse that kind of
Gary
behavior.
V, please come on the podcast.
Yeah.
Go Jets.
I mean, he's based in New York, so
have us on your podcast.
Nikki, what's the next question you want to ask to our guest here?
So the next question is, besides Ventures, you're also part of the New York TIE.
Yeah, TIE.
So you're a student ambassador, so tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I just got that position just about a month ago.
Congrats.
It was actually, again, through I could talk about it a lot. I could talk about it all day long, but networking is so damn important.
Yeah.
Important, yeah.
It's people think it could be like a cliche for people, but like once you really actually do it, I mean, a lot of things. This is again, it goes back to college education. You can't read a chapter in a book about networking. That's not going to get you nowhere. But if you really sometimes when I go to networking events, I try to go to like at least once every 2 weeks or something around the city or whatever. It puts me in like it's uncomfortable kind of because they're like there's no one younger, everyone's there's like older, and they're running their companies and whatever, and what can you relate, and I bring up NYIT Ventures, I bring up whatever I think is a good connection to have with them, but basically it's that skill of learning how to speak with them, and that's why people skills and soft skills are so important, because people get impressed by the way you speak, and if you can't deliver, if you can't attract people, like just by the way you speak, and again, it's not something you learn in college. It's the experience and the exposure you give yourself. That's really what carries on the connection. So like I tell a lot of my members, I was like, it's not about where your connections take you at this point. It's about learning, the conversation. Like how can you talk to some 48-year-old, senior director or like a managing director of a firm. Like what can you talk about? And that's why it goes back again. It's that general knowledge that you have, and build up your skills. And you just got to keep doing it. So that's basically. I forgot what was the question again.
The question was about the.
Oh yeah, the tie. I'm so sorry. See, it goes in a lot of areas.
That's our weekly problem.
So basically about tie, so I talked about networking because I got introduced to this because of a networking. So tie is it's called the Indus Entrepreneurs, but basically anyone can go to it. It's an entrepreneurship networking hub, I guess if you want to say. It's like an organization, and they connect. It's angel investors, venture capital investors, business owners, startup owners, whatever it is. Anyone in those areas, they sign up, they're a member, and they have like bi-monthly events that happen. Like open mic night, whatever. So I got in touch with the president of New York, the New York chapter of TIE, and I talked about he was interested. He saw my LinkedIn and everything, and that's why I said personal branding is important because when you present yourself, you never know what the opportunities are. But he reached out. He was like, I'm interested in if you want to connect NYT with TIE, like something about a student. Like let me see it. I mean, I don't think there's anything like that for TIE. I gave him a call, and again, those calls that I make lots of calls over the summer, especially for the speakers. It's uncomfortable. So, you get nervous, like, what am I going to talk about? I've never spoken with him before, but again, you get used to it, and again, you really build yourself, you really just build yourself by putting yourself in that zone.
Sure.
Just by me being here talking on a podcast is, it's comfortable now. Especially with you guys are very chill. So what was I saying? Yeah. So
It's okay.
this guy, again, digressed. Um, he got in touch. We got on a phone call, and yeah, he was interested in connecting university students to the program because they want to build up the program pipeline. So I was like, I'm down for it. I'll spend as much time as I have to.
Win-win.
Yeah, and it was over the summer. It was like about a month ago. So there's nothing I can do at the moment. But once the semester starts, that's when I'm going to start having people, give people information. So yeah, basically I'm using that to really have students. I really want TIE New York to be a close organization for students to go and network. Because last semester I told students, go out to networking events and whatever. We have my team and I will send out links to you guys. You guys can find out good places where you guys want to go. But now that if I'm a student ambassador, people, it's about like building relationships, and I really want people to feel like, there's someone there that's there with you. So, I want to create that small little bridge that can connect NYIT Ventures students or anyone to come into TIE and really build your skills. In TIE New York, they have like open mic night, pitch competitions, and you learn a lot from these startup investors and founders, everything.
I wanted to ask, tell us something that you've accomplished that will benefit you in your future career. But literally every single thing that you've talked about today, it will benefit you.
Yeah, dude.
In your
The ball's
future.
rolling for you, man.
Yeah,
Well, I mean-
yeah. So
Do you already have your speakers already set up for the upcoming semester? Or a
That's
idea?
now this semester is gonna be really exciting, and that's the only reason why I want school to start.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
We've been
Forget
saying
about
it for
the
weeks.
classes.
Bro.
I
We've
mean-
been saying it for weeks.
Yeah.
We're ready to
Yeah,
work.
and you guys just started over the summer, so I'm sure when school's gonna start, things are gonna be rolling differently for you guys, which is gonna be exciting.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. But NYIT Ventures so last semester we had 6 speakers. This semester we're having 9 speakers. And last semester what happened was they all end up to be male speakers. I really wanted to diversify it up. So yeah, we had 6 male
women
speakers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So don't judge yet. Really, I really try to reach out for female speakers, but 2 of them that were interested said that they're not available. So that's great. So this semester we're bringing in 9. We actually have it's almost a 1-to-1 ratio. It's like 4 female speakers and 5 female speakers.
Very cool.
That were coming.
Okay,
So
awesome,
and my goal was
awesome.
actually bringing 3 female. So we did
There we go.
go up from that goal.
maybe
so, yeah.
I will attend one of these meetings.
What was that?
I said maybe I will attend one of these meetings.
Now that a girl's going.
I hope a lot of people attend.
Yeah, no.
I'm just kidding. No, I was thinking, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
So,
and actually this semester, so because of Grant Cardone, what he his events that he hosts, and this is a smaller scale, obviously, but we're hosting I haven't started publicizing this at all, but you guys will get the first
Sneak peek, baby.
sneak peek.
yeah,
We're hosting the NYT Ventures Growth Conference on November 5th and 12th. So that's basically 150 plus attendees, all students. You guys are going to be invited. I'll give you guys VIP
appreciate
premier seating if you guys want.
Very cool.
Yes.
We're getting
Oh
everything
my
organized.
God.
It's going to happen in the auditorium on Broadway. But we're going to have 6 speakers. So the topics we have personal branding. So we have a speaker on personal branding, speaker on networking, speaker on social media development. So that's on first day, November 5th. And on the second day, we have a speaker talking about disruptive innovation, so like starting a business and in technology. Another speaker talking about fintech and blockchain. And the third speaker is on business leadership. And these are not speakers just talking about these topics. I want them to relate. And when I did speak with them over the phone, we had to figure out strategies on how can we relate to students, because that's really why students would be interested. What is it in for me? So, everything's getting set up. So yeah, we had 6 speakers for the growth conference, and we had 3 guest speakers this semester. We have speakers speaking about what's it called? How to nail an interview, like a job interview. That's our first speaker. Another speaker coming in to talk about artificial intelligence. So he's
Very
part of
cool.
IBM. And then our third speaker, he's actually a former NFL Super Bowl champion. He came in. Isaiah Stanback. He was for the New York Giants and then Jacksonville Jaguars. So he was part of a couple of teams.
That's awesome.
And a lot of these speakers that are brought in, they were from our past speakers. So Adi Patil, he helped me out. And again, that's why connections are very important. They help you, and it's about building that. It's about a value exchange. What can
Yeah.
you do for me, and what can I do for you? So he's helping me out with more speakers. I'm helping out. He's working with other companies, and I really want to help. Give more branding part of NYT and let students be aware of it to open up a little bit more of a market potential here. But yeah, we have 9 speakers coming in this semester, and really I want it to be more about the experience that students have and take full advantage of it. So we have 11 meetings this semester.
That's
And I
sick.
got
That's crazy, man.
yeah, and I got my vice president Carlos. Shout out to you, I promise.
Carlos.
He's running the research and development program. So unlike last semester where things were just all over the place, we made sure that everything this semester is going to work out well. So let's keep our fingers crossed, and I'm sure based on our strategies and everything that we planned out, everything will work out well. So
I'm
That's
looking forward to
awesome.
it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Awesome.
Lastly, I want to ask, 5 years from now, you'll be graduated from NYIT with your bachelor's degree.
3.
3, but like we're
Well,
saying like 5 years and
5
like the
years.
future, like
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You,
fine,
you,
okay.
You'll have already be graduated.
I hope it's not 5 years I'm here.
Where there are a couple ways to ask this, but I want to ask you, where do you want to be instead of where do you think you'll be? Where do you want to be
Where do you picture yourself in 5 years?
Where do I want to be?
in life?
like
Like
what
in life.
do we
So
want?
where geographically, I want to be in Florida. So right where you are, Nicole.
There we go.
Is there
Anywhere over there.
places to be?
So but where I want to be, like, so I'm learning a lot right now on the side. Right now I'm taking a real estate investing course, which I have a high passion
You
for.
have that? That's crazy.
Yeah. What do you mean, Dad?
That class?
Well, no, not at
Oh,
NYT.
I was about to
And
say.
that's another
I was
thing.
like, wow.
Yeah, no, a lot of the course, like I just took a 6-month fintech course online, Coursera and Udemy, and I value these courses a lot more than what I'm learning here, specifically because those are more passion driven and those are more practically inclined. I'm learning a lot more quantitative skills, qualitative skills on there than I am here, and it's at a much faster pace or whatever pace you want. But I'm learning a lot of skills from there. So I just started just 2 months ago learning about real estate investing, especially in Florida. That's where I see, my dream
Yourself?
is to build a real estate portfolio over time in the Florida area, Miami, Ventura, Fort Lauderdale, wherever it is. But that's going to take, like 10, 20 years from now, building that portfolio up. So, but I do have a very big passion for that. But if I'd say in like 5 years, it really does depend, but I would be seeing right now I'm working with my family right now, but as much as I can, I need to bring in outside experience and the outside connections. So definitely with an outside, maybe like a larger company, like an international company that has international relations, to build a business. But I do see myself being more in the venture capital side, so more on investing. For me, I don't see myself as like a founder. I see myself more as like more on the investing side. I could be a little quirky a little
That's
bit.
cool.
But it's more like I don't want to like build a product or anything like that. Other people can take care of that. I'd rather be the ones that like are backing it and supporting it, funding it. Especially with my experience over the summer, I'm starting to see a lot of like the trends and everything. But yeah, and that's gonna take time though. I don't know
Of
about
course,
so about
of
5
course.
years. It's a little too short for me to say what I see my where I would be. But in the long run, my long-term projections are is in that
Got your
But
finger
that's
on
awesome.
the pulse,
You-
man.
Yeah, that's awesome. You have something in mind. Well, you have a lot of things in mind, and a lot of things to back you up. So that's awesome.
I think that's a really good point to wrap
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, for any updates, you can follow at NYIT Ventures, and for your personal, you want to shout out your personal Instagram?
yeah. Shubhang_Jani. Why not?
All right.
Alright.
That was one heck of a podcast.
All right. Did
Uh,
we answer all the questions? Are we good?
yeah,
Yeah.
we
we
have
are gravy, sir.
more than what we need. From
Oh,
this.
absolutely,
Thank you so
yeah.
much. Thank you guys very much for listening to this episode of Manhattan's Voice. Remember, we're a branch of the Manhattan Globe on NYIT's Manhattan campus. My name is Julian West.
My name is David Gustavo Contreras.
My name's Nicole Miranda.
And my name's Shubhang Jani.
All right, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Manhattan Voice _pod.
Manhattan's Voice.
Manhattan's
_pod.
Voice _pod.
I repeat,
I
Get it
Manhattan's
together.
Voice
get
_
that
pod.
wrong so many
3, 2,
times.
1. Manhattan's
Manhattan's
Voice
Voice
_ pod.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you very much. You'll see us next week.
Keep on rocking in the free world.
Bye bye.